Well, hi, gang. I just wanted to post a video here on our last day of class with a few final tips and pointers, and to just let you know that I've really enjoyed reading each of your papers that you've been working on and getting to know each of you a little bit better, and working with you on various aspects of your writing and composition. It's been great to see your individual stories and narratives progress and build over the course of these 5 weeks. It's funny when we start this thing out. It's like, maybe you ask yourself, what can I possibly get done and learn in 5 weeks? Especially if you're apprehensive about writing. But just looking back at the submissions that I've had so far for the final essay and the draft process every step along the way, it's really clear many of you have really taken the opportunity to become very self-reflective on your writing, and it shows. So I sincerely hope that you've been able, each of you, to take something away from this class that can benefit you down the road. And so I guess to that end, then, let me offer a few final tips on both the paper and things that you'll want to take with you going forward to Comp 2 and beyond. So for the final paper, APA style, of course, that's a given. I don't want to spend all day talking about it because what you say is more important usually than how you format it, but formatting very important still. And we use APA throughout the university, so you're going to keep encountering it class after class. As your Comp 1 teacher, it's my job and sacred duty to encourage you to learn all those maddening details about this formatting style. It's really, to play devil's advocate here, learning your APA is helpful because it really helps you develop an attention for detail, an eye for detail, that you'd be surprised, once you hone it, can really spread forward into other areas of your life. And you might find yourself noticing details of other things, even not related to composition, that you haven't before because you've trained your eye to sort of just seize on every little detail. At this point in my career, I can look at a paper right away and tell you straight off whether it conforms to APA or not, whether that font size is 11 or 12 point, and whether that the font in the header is Calibri, the default mode, or was it changed appropriately to Times New Roman. So anyway, plus much like learning other languages gives you perspective on different things, learning different formatting styles gives you perspective on their various uses. So in case we're wondering what APA is used for, it's used for information when you need to be able to cross-reference and know the source of information very quickly within a text. And so that's why it's most often used in sciences and things where the date of the research being cited is really paramount. So for example, in the liberal arts English, for example, we use MLA formatting style because it's not necessarily as important to know when somebody that you're citing wrote something. If you're writing about Moby Dick and you want to cite what somebody said in 1933 about the novel Moby Dick, you can put that in there and cite at the end of the paragraph. If you're paraphrasing, for example. Whereas in APA, you'd want to cite right after the information, and that's because things in the world of humanities and English don't change as radically and as often with updating of new scientific evidence as within scientific disciplines. Whereas in science, you're going to want to know if you're reading a report and it's about a brain surgery, if the article that's being quoted was written in 1943 or 2013. Big difference. So a little bit about that. All right, I'm trying to keep this whole thing short, so let's move on. Make sure you have a good introduction, introduction that operates, I advise you, according to the funnel method, meaning that up here at the top, your very first sentence, you'll have your attention grabber, your hook. Then you'll have a series of sentences that get more and more specific to where down at the bottom, the most narrow point, you've got your thesis statement. And that lets the reader know exactly what your narrative will be about. And this system will work for you for any composition that you write, any essay from here on out at Ashford, at any rate. It's also good writing professionally as well. Don't forget to cite. Remember, if you weren't born knowing it, cite it. This isn't as important at this stage of the game because you're writing a personal narrative essay, but it will really come into play when you move into Comp 2 and you begin doing research writing and getting trained to write academically. So do yourself a favor and just do it now. And if you are writing an objective academic research essay, you can count on having probably at least one citation per paragraph. If you're paraphrasing information about something or other, you'll have a citation in there. It's better to oversight than undercite, definitely. So bear that in mind. Grammar stuff. Work on commas. Everybody can always learn how to work with commas more appropriately because they're tricky. And you won't be able to perfect your comma usage over 5 weeks, but everyone has made progress in this area, I've seen, and because it's a thing that usually comes up in this class time after time, and I've seen this particular cohort, you guys, really make good headway here, and especially in your reflections on what you're learning about your own writing. A lot of you are acknowledging, hey, commas kind of throw me off, and I'm learning more about those. So I do encourage you to work on that, because comma usage is really, especially comma splices, is one of those things that will set you apart in the professional world and in the academic world too, as someone who has a solid education and a solid understanding of the fundamentals of English grammar. So can never go wrong learning how those commas work. Same thing for run-on sentences / sentence fragments. Really try to hone that ability to identify when you've got a complete thought in a sentence, and whether or not you're moving with a subject, verb, predicate sort of flow to everything. That's always good advice when writing professionally, and in many cases academically as well. Let's see. For the final paper, don't forget your references page if you have any. The concluding paragraph. Make sure that your conclusion offers your reader a sense of closure to what you've just given, the things that you've been discussing. Make sure that you don't just sort of break off in the middle of the action and say, well, that was it, or leave your reader feeling like, well, what's coming more? Give some closure. And a handy tip to take with you going forward, when writing thesis statements for other papers, when you're sitting down, you're writing that thesis statement, you've just banged it out, there it is, don't stop. Look at your thesis statement, then rewrite it, paraphrase yourself, and rewrite it using different words. And you'll have 2 statements that are almost pretty much the same but with different wording. Then take one of them and put it in your conclusion, because your conclusion should always harken back to your thesis, but without using the same exact words. So what I like to do is, as long as I'm already in thesis writing mode and I've written that thesis and I got it there, I'll try to take it and then paraphrase it and make another similar statement that I'll then go and plug in later on in my conclusion. So, pro tip on that point. And, last but not least, I want to now extend you the opportunity to continue working with me even after this class is over. I'm an Ashford English graduate. I have a master's degree in English, and I'm working on that dissertation for my PhD in education with a focus on applied linguistics or language. Point being, I can be your one-man writing center, and I'm happy to be. Call it a perk of taking a course with Professor Leverins, but from here on out, through the rest of your time at Ashford, if you ever need a set of proofreading eyes or some advice or input on anything, feel free to reach out to me, shoot me an email, give me a call. I want to see each of you in this class go on to succeed in your goals and achieve that dream and get that degree. So with that, I'll leave you. We're running at 8.5 minutes here. It's longer than I wanted to. English major. I get a bit verbose at times. But just let me say it's been a real privilege to work with each of you. I've really enjoyed your essays. I'll be wrapping up grading this coming week and sending out a couple of other emails and announcements. In the meantime, just kind of giving out last calls. But as always, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me with any questions or concerns. I'm here for you, and I'm happy to help. So, let's not say adieu. Let's just only say au revoir, meaning till next time. Bye, everybody.